What? Bang!
Wrestling podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep through rep.
Yeah! Woo!
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Can he do it?
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am Macho King Savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty. I said WWE stands for... It's me, Austin. I will never retire.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Pro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling video game? Stop immediately. Go to Wrestler Unstoppable, available exclusively through Facebook. Look, guys, you can create a wrestler, sign contracts, get into storylines, headline PLEs. You can even create your own corporation, build it up from the bottom up, all included in Wrestler Unstoppable, available now to all Facebook users, totally free. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, want your name in the shout-outs like my good buddy John in Texas. John, always love giving you the shout-out. Pop over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today. Loyalty rewards. If you are a $15 a month contributor, you get to co-host a live show with myself. $7.50 a month, I will enter you into a drawing to also host a live episode with me one night for one of our going live episodes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Pro Wrestling Podcast. If you've got questions, comments, something you'd like us to touch on in the future episode, give us a call. Give us a shout. The Pro Wrestling Sound Off line, 267-642-1160, and we will get to those comments, questions, and things of interest in a future episode. This episode, we're going to recap everything that went down this week in the world of pro wrestling, all the important stuff, the pertinent stuff. We'll touch on some of the minor storylines. Let's get started with the most recent stuff. Let's talk SmackDown. SmackDown drove me crazy this week. I don't know how you all feel about it, but 4 four-way matches in one night is too much. You could almost have made a pay-per-view out of 4 fatal four-way matches, and it could have been its own event. I mean, if you think about it, PLEs these days have been going with 5 matches, unless you're a major PLE. 5 matches a show. We had 4 fatal four-ways in one episode of SmackDown with other filler content. That's, for me, somewhat problematic. It gets to where you watch the first one, you're like, okay, it's almost like when, you have a women's rumble and a men's rumble. You watch the one, you still got the other one coming. That's not too bad. But imagine watching a specialty match and another specialty match and another specialty match and yet another specialty match. And it doesn't even matter that you put Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest in the last of the fatal four-ways. It really doesn't matter. By the time we get to that 4th one, we are burnt out. Bad idea, especially when you have as much time as you do to still put on more matches ahead of the pay-per-view for King and Queen of the Ring. There was no reason they needed to rush this, but they did for whatever reason anyways. And the problem I have even bigger than that is SmackDown seemed almost like, well, in a lot of ways, it kind of felt like it was an AEW thing like they've been doing the last 2 weeks for Dynamite, cramming Dynamite and Collision together. This kind of felt like 2 SmackDowns just slammed together. You had 2 separate appearances by John Cena, 4 fatal four-ways, just all this peripheral stuff. And it almost feels like it's thrown together in a way that's not conducive to a real well thought through program, and that's an issue. You right now, the pendulum swings, so to speak, about whether AEW or WWE is putting out the best television product. It's starting to swing back in the AEW direction because this is not a great presentation. It's just not. AEW had their lull for a while. WWE was killing it. Now it's starting to go the other way. AEW is doing a lot of really good things, and WWE is starting to really drop the ball both with opportunity, decision-making, booking, all that stuff. So we see at this show, we open the show with John Cena coming out. He has a conversation. What was the point of this? We didn't need John Cena in the ring. He's got limited dates as it is. If we're going to have him on a show, that's fine. I don't need to see him twice. There is no reason for him to be interacting with Cody Rhodes in any way, shape, or form yet. He's got a program running right now with CM Punk. Emphasize that program. Forget about Cody Rhodes right now. When you go and you're doing too many things at once with the same person, and you've still got the R-Truth, the Ron Killings factor. So, pulling Cena in 3 directions, problematic again. It makes it so it's too convoluted, it's too crazy, it's too much to try to keep up with. And then you can't even get to the moment where you start thinking to yourself, man, it'd be really cool to see John Cena and LA Knight, or John Cena and Randy Orton again, or, whatever, because he's already doing 3 things. And that's all going to wrap up by the end of the Crown Jewel, and then heading into SummerSlam. And then where do we go from there? Who's left after that? Because at this point, I would suspect that he's obviously going to defeat CM Punk somehow at Crown Jewel. That's going to, and Cody is probably going to win King of the Ring. He'll challenge Cena at SummerSlam. You can't take the belt off of Cena yet. You just can't. So you're rushing the Cody match. And then Cody's not going to be the one to end it, because that wouldn't make sense either. So then who's left? Who do you have on the roster that is going to be the guy to end Cena? And is this one of those things where you're going to go, what we're going to do? We're going to turn Cena back to being a babyface before he leaves, while he's still champion, because then you'd have all the heels to work with. And you're going to put him in, and he still may have a match with Roman. You still have Seth sitting there. Some of the younger guys, the Braun Breakers of the world. There's so much you could be doing, and right now we're just cramming 3. Unless that's the whole point, is like cram 3 this time, 3 next month, 3 next, just to try to get him to interact with as many people as possible, but we're still not getting all those matches. So, I don't know. I did not like the opening of the show. I thought it was rushed, not necessary. We'll have to see where they go from there. The first Fatal 4-Way, the RKO on Carmelo Hayes on top of LA Knight for Randy Orton to pick up the win, I thought was fantastic. The involvement by Braun Breaker and oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank on his flipping name? I feel like such a fool right now because I can't remember Bronson Reed's name. By Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, I get it. I understand storyline why it's there. I didn't need that. I really didn't. But I do love the finish. I thought the finish was fantastic. Just another one of those RKOs out of nowhere that really fit the moment. The Jacob Fatu stuff. Look, I love Jacob Fatu. I really do. But it's strange, right? So, before SmackDown aired, Hikuleo made his WWE debut on an episode of the Main Event. The guy signed a year ago. We haven't seen him. The Bloodline needs an injection of life of some kind, especially when you have like Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are not on the show right now due to injury. He would have been a great addition. Put him on the side with Jacob Fatu, and now you kind of balance the odds a little bit. But they don't do that. They put him on the Main Event. Why? What a waste of a debut. So instead of putting him into any kind of premium moment, he's on the Main Event. And while we're doing that, we have this nonsensical video package with Solo Sikoa saying how Fatu's going to say, "I love you, Solo." Like it's even hokier than when they were doing the stuff over the Ula Fala, which I thought that was pretty hokey. Not loving it. We'll have to see what happens. We get to the next Fatal 4-Way. Jade Cargill, Michin, Nia Jax, Piper Niven. Let's be honest. Like, when you look at the first one, was anybody winning except for Randy Orton? Yeah, for real. Was Carmelo Hayes going to win? No. LA Knight, it'd be interesting, but no. So you already knew Randy Orton was winning that, and you weren't going to give it to Aleister Black. So you knew Randy Orton was winning that. You look at this. Jade Cargill, Michin, Nia Jax, Piper Niven. You could maybe make an argument for Nia Jax, but you're not going to do that to Jade Cargill because she still hasn't had her match with Bianca. And you know somewhere down the pike that's going to happen. So Jade had to win this, so it was kind of like a giveaway. And this, I mean, it's a solid match. Nothing to write home about. Is what it is. You know, I can take it. You know, I'm glad that Jade got put over strong here. They have Naomi come out after winning Money in the Bank, talking trash. She stated her case for why she's coming for Tiffany Stratton. It made a lot of sense long-term booking-wise. This actually might have been the best part of the show. Just being honest. I think that the the conversation about Tiffy possibly, cashing in on Nia earlier in the year and this kind of stuff, and remembering her attacking Naomi, I thought that made a lot of sense, and it works. It works for where they're going with this. So, solid promo, solid situation. We go from that into Wyatt 6 and the Motor City Machine Guns. Look, I'm sorry, you're never going to make me happy when you're burying the Machine Guns. They're one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I want to see them in a prime position. I want to see them winning, not losing to a team that has had a grand total of 1 match in 6 months. I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. But this match, it ends up being a win for the Wyatt 6. I'm happy they're getting back on track. I don't understand what they're doing. You have 5 members of your group. There's no reason for them to be in a tag team thing. But whatever. It is what it is. Then we get the John Cena to come back out. Now he's face to face with CM Punk. They talking their trash. Again, I don't need multiple Cena appearances. It's a little too much. Now, I did love that at the beginning of the show when Cena was leaving, he got jumped by R-Truth in the aisle. I love that Ron Killings attacked Cena here and put him in the STF. I actually kind of loved, Punk taunting Cena from the outside while he's getting the STF put on him by Ron Killings. From that into another Fatal 4-Way. Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, Alba Fire, and Candice LeRae. You knew it had to be Charlotte or Alexa Bliss. In all honesty, it could have gone either way for me. I'm glad it was not Charlotte because I think they're trying to get away from the narrative that Charlotte always gets the championship opportunity. Alexa wins. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out because clearly they're working towards a Charlotte-Alexa interaction of some kind on a bigger stage in a singles opportunity. But, I'm fine with Alexa winning. I'm just, by this point, we're 3 Fatal 4-Ways in, leading into a 4th one. Cody, Andrade, Nakamura, and Damian Priest. Did anybody in there actually think anybody but Cody Rhodes would win this? And if he didn't, it would have had to have been some kind of schmoz where Damian Priest pulls it out. But I don't think anybody would have bought that. I don't, because the winner gets a championship opportunity at SummerSlam. What are you going to do with that? It had to be Cody. So, again, solid matches if they, standing on their own. There's nothing wrong with the matches. There's something wrong with all 4 of them being on the same night. Plus, you throw in the tag team match with the Wyatt 6. And you basically had a PLE crammed into SmackDown in a time when we've got a ton of PLEs so close together to begin with, which it just came off weird and it's very strange. Other WWE reported news this week, the Wrestling Observer newsletter talking about WWE being very interested in signing 2 people in particular. No surprise, Joe Hendry from TNA and Mike Santana. Both have contracts slated to come due either the end of this year or early next year. Both are now on WWE's radar, and it's turning TNA into like a farm system for WWE at this point. But on the flip side, because I know some people hate that, it also gives NXT an opportunity to do something with people who they may not see as ready for the main roster. They've kind of done everything they're going to do in NXT. That's a Trick Williams right now. I don't think you need Trick Williams on the main roster right now, but he's done everything in NXT. So what do you do with him? You put him in TNA for a little while. Help that brand. Have a premium talent. They're not paying for him. The WWE's paying him. And it continues to cultivate his experience while giving him something of value to do. Add to his resume, and then when he's ready for the main roster, you're good to go. You can roll. So I don't have a big problem with that. WWE, that's not the only signings. AAA, we know that they've been signing AAA talent. Essentially, anybody who is at Worlds Collide is now under a WWE contract. The big names, Vikingo, El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., and Alberto El Patron, or Alberto Del Rio, all clearly have signed contracts. Word came out earlier in the week that Mr. Iguana had signed a contract, and he actually got some heat over it. That was in the news as well, that he came out and told everybody he was going straight to the main roster and skipping NXT, and apparently that got him some heat. Not a popular thing to talk about, and it kind of like lets everything out of the bag. I don't think WWE guys are thinking about this the way Mexican wrestling goes down. There's the kayfabe thing is a little different down there, and I think he was just excited. Cut the guy some slack. Like, seriously, are we really shocking anybody when you get the kind of reaction that he got? Of course WWE's going to put him on the main roster. It makes all the sense in the world. But this weekend, tomorrow, AAA Triple Mania, I never know how to pronounce some of their stuff. Their Triple Mania show in Monterey is tomorrow. Mr. Iguana will be in action. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But several of those stars are clearly being set up for runs with WWE signing contracts and whatnot. Another person signing with WWE, or at least imminently, that's the word, is that we are going to see not just Nikki, but also Brie Bella. TMZ Sports had a conversation on the matter, talking about the Bella Twins both coming back for Evolution 2. I suspect it'll be a tag team championship match against Liv and Raquel. Makes sense coming off what we saw on Monday night, and then hearing that Brie is in negotiations to come back as well. Right now, the only match advertised is JC Jane defending the NXT Women's Championship. So you got to start putting something together to make it a draw, and I think this could be a good way to do that. In other WWE PLE or main event news, Monday night, that's the big night where we're going to see they're going to be emanating from, I believe, if I remember right, I think they're in Wisconsin, Green Bay, and tonight, or on Monday night, Goldberg should be appearing to kick off this retirement tour, challenging Gunther. And on that topic, like, we haven't talked a lot about Raw this week. Gunther winning the World Heavyweight Championship bothers me. It bothers other people. Because I think they made this decision just to make Goldberg's retirement match a World Championship match. There's two problems with that. One, Jay's over like Rover. Now, I don't care if there's a small percentage of the crowd that's irritated with his reign, thinks he hasn't done anything. Well, how about the fact that it's not up to him? Creative has to book him in matches for him to do more. So you can't rain down the hate on Jey Uso. When he comes to the ring, the way he reacts with the children, what he does for the kids is undeniable. Couple in the fact that there's a lot of criticism of Goldberg in his several most recent runs because every time he shows up, he just gets a championship match. Win, lose, or draw is irrelevant. He should not be in a world championship match when you haven't been in the ring in years. I'm sorry, you shouldn't. I don't care who you are. You didn't need a belt to promote Goldberg versus Gunther. You don't. I think that's overkill. But that's what WWE wants to do. So that's what it looks like we're going to be getting, is we're going to be getting Goldberg coming back, challenging Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. And that's why they took the belt off of Jay. Now, how long will it take for Jay to get back in the World Championship picture? Who knows? If ever. I know Rikishi's online spouting off about how upset he is about it. Rikishi, if you ever hear me, which I doubt it, but if you ever do, I'm with you, man. I don't like it. I hate it. I think it's a terrible, terrible idea. You know, I understand we got to get some excitement going for the whole Goldberg retirement tour, but we don't need a belt for that. We really just don't need a belt for that. And speaking of belts, Bully Ray on Busted Open, making it very clear that he does not understand why John Cena has to be in line for his a match with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes should be the next challenger after CM Punk at SummerSlam. No ifs, ands, or buts. I don't disagree with him. We touched on this earlier when we were talking about SmackDown. The problem I have with all of that is that that should be the last thing that happens, is Cody regaining the championship from Cena at the end of the tour, not at SummerSlam. That should be the word is they're going to have a special, like, Ruthless Aggression pay-per-view in December, and that'll probably be Cena's last show. That's where it should happen. He should take the championship there. Unless, like I've said in previous episodes, they do the thing where Cena never actually loses the belt and they put it up on the line in the Royal Rumble. I'm actually okay with that if they do, but I don't know. A lot going on in WWE right now. A lot of things going on. A lot to try to keep our eyes on. Got to touch on AEW just a little bit tonight. 4 hours worth on Wednesday night. It was too much, man. It was just too much. Look, I'm not going to say anything bad about the matches. Ospreay Swerve, perfect. The ending, perfect, because people were livid that we got a time limit draw, and then we were flirting with the idea of, you know, extending the match, and then the Death Riders come out and attack, and they take all the heat for having a crappy time limit draw ending to begin with, something I hate seeing on television anyways, but it made a lot of sense. It was a great match. Mystico making his appearance against Blake Christian was fine. It was quick and painless, and it is what it is. I guess they're just trying to get Mystico over ahead of time. The Hurt Syndicate stuff, right now I don't see anybody on the entire roster that can hang with the Hurt Syndicate. I really don't. I wish we would hurry this up and get it to where it's going to be Lashley and MVP. Or I'm sorry, Lashley and MJF. There are too many acronym wrestlers in this group. MJF coming out looking like MVP is kind of funny to me. I find that completely hilarious. Doing the baller thing and all that, like, that's awesome. I actually love that. But anything after that, I just don't care. I really just don't care. I'm ready to move on. When we look at the rest of the show, the Tay J versus Mega Bane Penelope Ford, solid match, nothing to write home about. The Kenny Omega Okada thing, I know some people love that. Don't get me wrong. Looking forward to the match. I can't wait for the match. What I don't need is all the blood capsule nonsense. If you have diverticulitis, for anybody who Googles that, it's in your intestines. Somebody dropping an elbow on your intestine is not going to make you shoot blood out of your mouth. If you know anything about biology, the intestine, if you backed it up, would have to go all the way back up through, into the stomach, up through the throat, shoot out the mouth. It's too much. That doesn't happen from an elbow drop. It's naive people who don't know how the body works who would fall for that being a blood spot. It was ridiculous. It's over the top. Maybe I'm being too clinical about it, but it just bothers me, the unbelievability. I hate the unified championship thing. That you're taking the international champion and the Continental Classic champion, make it the Intercontinental Championship, and make it a second tier, not another premium tier, a second tier championship, and just consolidate 2 belts. I'd be okay with that. But no, let's have the swerve with Don Callis coming out. A belt with 2 guys finishing moves on it, so obviously the belt's made just for them. Throwing the Continental Classic in disarray later on this year. Apparently they're still going to have it, but what does that mean for the championship? I don't know. I just didn't like any of it. And then it was like the show changed, code switches after the attack and everything by Okada. And it felt like it went from being an A show to a B show, because it really was. It was Collision. And you end up with, the Kyle Fletcher, Anthony Bowens match, which was basically a worthless match to begin with. But whatever. I mean, it really should have been a night where Anthony Bowens wins. It is Pride Month, and he should have been able to pick up a win. One of the people who has the intestinal fortitude to share his personal life with the world, be an inspiration for some people. Would have been nice to see him get a win this month. Atlanta Senior coming in with this tag team scenario that looks like it's going to happen with he and Atlantis Junior against FTR. I was okay with it, but I mean, what are we doing? Are we in a weird way? Is AEW counter programming WWE now because that's what they're doing to AEW with their own Mexican push and whatnot? I don't know. I know they got a big show coming up at Arena Mexico, and I get it. I understand all of that, but really, it seems too forced. The Julia Hart Toni Storm thing, fantastic. I mean, Toni Storm doesn't have a bad match in her history, but it was solid. The Mercedes Moné interaction was also fantastic. I'm looking forward to more of that. I know that she has a match in CMLL for the CMLL Women's Championship coming up. I have a feeling she'll win that. If not, it'll be Toni Storm interfering to stop that. The Conglomeration versus MXM and Taya Valkyrie, confusing to me when you've got, I don't even know what his name is anymore. Johnny, whatever he's picking his last name right now. Johnny Elite. We'll go with that. How about that? Johnny Elite. With him being there and not being a part of this match, it just feels weird seeing Taya Valkyrie out there with 2 other dudes. It's not going to sit well with me. And it's a worthless match, so whatever, The Beast Mortos and Bandito, again, something that would be a great filler match on an episode of Collision, but for a Wednesday night Dynamite and a 4-hour show, putting you to sleep. Thelka versus Queen Aminata, again, solid match. This wasn't as much of a squash match, so I like that. I actually didn't mind this match quite so much. I think it gave both an opportunity to show a little bit, which we need. But what I hated was the following match, Paragon and Daniel Garcia versus Don Callis family. It's like every episode of Collision has the same match. We need to move past this. Paragon have become a joke lately. And that's sad for what the former Undisputed Kingdom or whatever, Undisputed Era, to be reduced to this. It's kind of a waste. It really is a waste of talent. So, I don't know. The other news of the week, the thing that it's really, for me, anybody who knows me on a personal level knows I was always a junkie fan favorite of our hero, Supermark, for American Gladiators. And we have 5 pro wrestlers being cast in this new American Gladiators, not counting The Miz, who's going to be the host. But you're going to have the former Rick Boogs is going to be there, Wardlow from AEW, Mr. Pectacular, former TNA star, Jesse Goddard will be there, Jessica Roden, who is J-Rod, the Ultimate Athlete, who's also a professional wrestler, and Camille, former NWA Women's Champion, AEW star. All going to be a part of the new reboot of American Gladiators, which is causing some tension between WWE and AEW, because you got people from both companies appearing on the show, but I love it, and I can't wait to see it. I just don't understand why AEW is letting Wardlow and Camille do that when they're under contract to them. It seems a little strange to me. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping it's successful. There have been other relaunch opportunities, and it's never really worked out the way the first one did. Maybe they'll do it better with this. We'll have to wait and see. And the last thing before we go, this weekend, big show. We got Triple Mania in Mexico. There's a lot of matches on the card. Mr. Iguana will be in action in a 6-man tag match or a trios match. I want to see the Fatal 4-Way for the AAA World Tag Team Championship. It's odd to hear me say that after I was complaining about Fatal 4-Ways earlier. But you've got 4 teams, including Los Garza and the Nemeth brothers, as well as Psycho Clown and Pagano and all these people in this Fatal 4-Way. I would love to see Los Garzas or the Nemeth brothers walk out as the AAA World Tag Team Champions. I'd like to see those belts on the WWE or TNA programming, but I don't suspect that's going to happen. I think it's going to be Psycho Clown and Pagano, being honest with you. But there's a lot of other talent going to be on the show. Moose will be there defending his TNA X Division Championship against El Macias, Joe Hendry, and El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. Should be a solid match. I expect Moose is going to retain. Vikingo is taking on Alberto El Patron in the cage match for the AAA Mega Championship. I expect that Patron is going to regain the championship here, especially now that we know he has a WWE contract. I think it's the right move. Get the belt back on him. Get some heat back on that championship. But we're going to have to wait and see. Good luck tomorrow night to Vikingo. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, but I have a feeling he's going to be losing this match to Patron. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode. We run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks, as always, out to Suno AI for generating music and sound effects we use in our show. Today's show is sponsored in part by Beazle Games. Bring a new friend to family game night. It's easy with sketchy people. Showcase your artistic side in this game from Beazle Games by going to thegamecrafter.com and pick up your copy today. If you're looking for your next career move, maybe you're considering college, university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life Planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking a few moments with us today. And until next time, take care. Have a great night, everybody.
Wrestling Podcast.